Hello and welcome to week number 47, if you can believe that, of this baking challenge of mine. So last week I can't even remember what we made. Oh, it was the apple butter apple galette, which everybody here loved. It was so good and I will have to make that again. Today we are doing something to use up those turkey dinner leftovers. I figure it's appropriate, what with the holiday being next week. Doesn't matter what you celebrate, if you're celebrating Friendsgiving like we do, or Thanksgiving, if you're just having a turkey dinner and there's gonna be leftovers. This recipe uses up some of those leftovers and you get a loaf of bread afterwards. I'm here for it. It's a little weird, but what isn't? So let's give it a try. Grab your ingredients and let's bake. As you can see, I broke out the bread machine. Gertrude is going to get this done for me. Listen, bread machines aren't cheating, okay? You are still making it. Just because you're not sitting out and waiting and setting timers for kneading and rising doesn't mean you're not doing the work. You're still collecting the ingredients, you're filling up your bread pan, and you're making it go. I'm all about cutting corners. I'm all about cheating. Do I like to make bread with the kneading and all of that? Yeah, sure, of course I do. I have to go to work today, so I'm not gonna have time for a 5-hour recipe. What I am gonna have time to do is throw things in here and let Gertie finish it for me, okay? Okay, if you're doing this in the mixer, that's fine. You got time to handle it, great. If not, bread machine. Honestly, for as cheap as this thing was, and I will post the link below, I use the heck out of it, okay? This is the third one that we've had. The first two I had were expensive. I had an explosion with the first one, and the second one I burned the motor out of. This one has been 5 years, going strong. It gets used almost weekly, and for some strange things too. I love it. This is, yeah, I can't say enough good things about bread machines. I will say that when you are making bread in a bread machine, you put your wet ingredients in first. Sometimes it doesn't matter when you're doing a mixer and you're going the old-fashioned way, but for a bread machine, your wet ingredients go first. So we are starting with 2/3 of a cup of lukewarm milk and 2 tablespoons of soft butter. I'm scraping all of that butter out. I do not like dry bread, so there we go. Okay, next in, I'm gonna put the stuffing in. So you are gonna need 1 cup of prepared stuffing. I went ahead and weighed mine I weighed everything today. I've never made bread with stuffing. So it is 128 grams of prepared stuffing. In it goes. Also, 213 grams of mashed potatoes. Any mashed potatoes, it doesn't matter what kind. White potatoes, sweet potatoes, splashing stuff everywhere. It's all good. Garlic potatoes, these are just butter potatoes. Okay, I'm gonna spread that around in here, kind of give it an even base so it doesn't get all glopped up. Now for our dry ingredients. There's 1 cup or 113 grams of wheat flour. There's 2.5 cups, 300 grams of white flour, 1 teaspoon to 1 1/4 teaspoon of table salt, and a tablespoon of granulated sugar, because what does our yeast like to eat? Sugar. Okay, dumping this in here. And then once you have your flour for the bread machine, once you have your flour in there, make just a little divot on top. That's where you're gonna put your yeast at. That's what every instruction manual says to do. And for this, it's gonna be 2.5 teaspoons of your instant yeast. So there's 1, there's 2, and probably a half. Now, if you're doing this in the bread machine or by hand, you don't need, okay. Let me rephrase because I'm getting ahead of myself. If you are doing this in the mixer, your dough should be cohesive but tacky, kind of like most of my wardrobe choices. And if you're doing it by hand, same thing. It's going to be a tacky dough, but it should be able to like stay together, hold its shape. Once you're done with that, ignoring the bread machine, because with the bread machine, we're going to put it in, we're going to stick it on the dough setting, and we're going to walk away and ignore it until it's completely done. So if you are not using a bread machine for this, you are going to get your dough together, you're going to transfer it to a lightly greased bowl, cover it, and then you're going to walk away. That dough is going to rise for about 2 hours, okay? Once it has risen to the 2 hours, it's going to be really puffy. You're going to gently deflate it. Now I know some bread recipes, you're going to have to punch it. This is not that. You're just fingertips, okay? Fingertips, it's going to deflate. You're going to then shape it into a loaf. You're not putting it in a pan, I don't think. Yeah, no, you're going to shape it into like an 11-inch log and put it on a baking sheet, on a baking pan, parchment paper or lightly greased. Then you're going to cover it again and let it rise for another 1.5 to 2 hours. Once that rise time is done, it's going to go in a 350-degree oven for about 35 to 45 minutes. If you're cooking it in the oven, it's going to be golden brown on top. You're going to use a thermometer, a meat thermometer. The inside needs to register 190 degrees, okay? Then you can pull it out, put it on a rack to cool, and you're done. You're going to have your Black Friday sandwich bread for your turkey leftovers. Now, for the bread machine, as previously stated, you get your bread pan in there, you lock it in place, close it, and somewhere on your menu settings, you are going to have a dough setting. For me, that is number 9. So, let's see here, right? Yeah. No, that's not right. Yes, it is. What am I thinking? Hit start, and I'm walking away. So that's all there is to it. This is a very simple recipe. It's hopefully going to be ready by the time I go on my lunch break today, and then we can give it a try. I can have a sandwich for lunch, and we'll see. So good luck, and I'll see you back in several hours. I can't believe what I'm about to show you guys. This is so embarrassing. So I did push the wrong button on my bread maker. It did not make the bread, it just made the dough and proofed it. When I pulled it out, and I was just like, you know what, that's fine. I'll just put it in the oven, I'll shape it, I'll make it all pretty, it'll be great. Well, I wasn't thinking about how cold it is in my house today. And when I took the bread dough out of the machine, it was nice and proofed. It had a beautiful rise on it. Well, it failed. This is my loaf of bread. It totally lost the rise. It just died on me. I'm still going to try this because darn it, I put the effort in. So let's see what we've got here. This is ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Well, it's not as dense as I expected it to be, so that's a bonus already. This is not going to make any sandwiches, that's for sure, but you could spread a little bit of cranberry sauce on there and eat it that way. All right, time for the taste test. Okay, this has a really good flavor. So it is not an overwhelming flavor. There's just a hint of the garlic and the onion from the stuffing, and it's definitely got a buttery flavor from the potatoes. So if this had actually turned into a loaf of sandwich bread, I would be very happy with it. As it is, I think I need to break out some cranberry sauce and give that a try. I think that's going to really elevate things. It's not a dry bread. It's not incredibly dense, although mine would be denser than yours if you got a good rise on yours. So I'm going to call this a kind of a win. If it had proofed correctly and didn't fall, this would be a great loaf of bread. And you got rid of some leftovers. So yeah, it's a win. Well, that's it for week number 47. I hope that your bread did better than mine. Listen, in baking, it's not always wins. You know that if you've been here all year throughout this series, we've had a couple of losses. We've had some failures in the kitchen. We've made some messes. We've had some disasters. We've had some laughs. We've had some good times. We've had some amazing, tasty treats. So I'm not heartbroken over this. Like I said, I'm going to slather some cranberry on there. It's going to be great. If you would like to, if you haven't already, feel free to hit that subscribe button below. There will be one of these videos every single Saturday until the very last Saturday of the year when we conclude the 2024 Baking Challenge, and I cannot believe that it's coming up so quickly. So you can also head over to the Facebook page. Most of the time on Wednesdays or Thursdays, I will release the ingredient list and the name of what I'm going to be baking that weekend so that you have time to get your groceries shopped and you can join if you decide. Next weekend, we are doing more with leftovers and I'm really excited. It's not going to be bread, so hopefully we will have more success and I'll see you then.